Hello, hello, and welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're joining from. Thanks for being here. Back in the studio. It's been a week. So many things happened this week. Cannot even begin to cover them. But yeah, welcome back. We're going to try to do a couple things today. Two main topics, recap stuff from NAB. I was there only on Sunday, so I got a very brief whirlwind tour of the show floor, checked out a few things, said hi to a bunch of people, met a bunch of you at the meetup, and then other topic is the bike ride live stream from yesterday. That was a lot of fun. I did a surprise live stream on this channel, streaming a bike ride in Portland that had a lot of people, and got a little drone flying in, which was a lot of fun. So I'll explain more about that, and we can get into the details of that rig now that things are back here. I've got most of the stuff with me, hopefully within arm's reach, so I should be able to like turn things on if we need to and test stuff out. So yeah, that's the plan for today. If you do have any questions, please make sure you start your question with the letter Q. Puts it into my little questions column here so I can hopefully not lose track of it in the midst of all the chat that goes on. We will see how that goes. No promises. If I'm ignoring you or if it looks like I'm ignoring you, it's probably because I'm just waiting a little bit later till the time it makes sense. Don't worry about it. If you repeat your question, it's not going to help. All right. Hello. Okay, cool. Lots of people in the chat already. Wonderful. IT Never Gets Old says, did you get the Ghost Stream Duet 8 back? They shipped it on Wednesday, and it was not there on... When did I check my P.O. box? It would have been Friday that I checked the P.O. box. So it was not there on Friday. It will hopefully show up soon. So, yeah. But I do have a couple of other little things that I did take home with me, including this one, which is from Sprolink. I've done a couple of live demos of these of other devices on the channel. So this one is a new one, a nice big screen, but also SDI and HDMI. So we can turn this on a little bit later, possibly if we have time. Yeah. Morton says, I may have missed it. Did Blackmagic say anything about an SDI version of the ATEM Mini G2? They have not said anything, no. The general consensus seems to be brewing, and this is not from Blackmagic. This is just from people who have talked with them, myself, knowledge of how they like to outside knowledge, obviously, about how they approach their products. So they launched this ISO G2, which is the it's an HDMI ATEM Mini Extreme. We'll talk about the details shortly. Actually, why not just dive right in? Because I do have some little clips from it. I did get a chance to actually see it on the show floor. This is the box. I will say it is very nice. It is well designed, feels nice to use. The new buttons are definitely nicer than the ATEM squishy ATEM Mini soft squishy buttons. I feel like this is a much more reasonable number of buttons on the device also compared to the original Extreme. And it has 8 HDMI ports, 3 HDMI outs, 2 USBs, a Thunderbolt, and then the thing that everyone asks is why not SDI? So the Thunderbolt is a key feature here, where the Thunderbolt interface appears to be, and of course this is not actually shipping yet, so the firmware that they've talked about right now is still in beta, etc. But my understanding is the idea of the Thunderbolt interface in the ATEM Mini Extreme G2 is that it will work like a Ultra Studio interface. So what that box is, this is what I use for running all the graphics in the stream. This Ultra Studio 4K Mini is I need to show you the back of it. Has SDI out A and B, which means it's the key and fill channel for graphics. So if you have graphics with transparency, including like how I do for chat running out of OBS, any kind of web graphics out of OBS can get the key fill from this device. It actually takes two channels, it takes two video channels, and there's two physical SDI ports on this box. The ATEM Mini G2 is like having that built in to the box over Thunderbolt, which is super, super, super cool. So it's kind of like having this box like all built in. They said there is a Thunderbolt in and out. So the output will have key fill. The input is just a video feed coming in. Very cool. So if you add up the cost of even just that, which is, what was that, 1,100? It used to be 1,000. Now it's 1,165 plus an ATEM Mini Extreme or something, or let's say Constellation. You get to about the $2,000 mark already, which is what the ATEM Mini G2 is. So that's cool. I'm excited for that. And yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay, great. So many questions. So on the SDI question, I strongly suspect that they will not make an SDI version. That seems to be how people are thinking that it's going to go. And the reason is because if you look at this box and imagine it has SDI, and maybe what's the price difference between these? They go from, let's say it's like $300 or maybe $500 more. That box ends up having capabilities that are more in line with this, because it's got the ISO recording, it's got still 8 cameras. It doesn't have the streaming bridges built in, but it's got the Thunderbolt interface, which is a cool trick. There's a bunch of other little neat tricks that it has in it that start to make it like rival the features of the ATEM Television Studio HD8, and I suspect it might cut into the sales of the bigger ones, and even the Constellations. So I suspect we won't see an SDI version. I would love to be proven wrong. Actually, what I would prefer is a combo HDMI and SDI, a mix of inputs. Doesn't have to be all 8 swappable like some of the other companies are doing. It could be 4 and 4, 6 and 6, where you can swap the 2 middle ones like the way the TV Studio worked originally. I did chat, and I haven't finished editing this video, but I did actually interview someone from Blackmagic, and like I have permission to actually edit this and use the actual video clips. So I will put out a video soon. I already started working on it, and I got a bunch of B-roll from today. So I did some B-roll edits today for the live stream clips. In that conversation, I asked straight, like, why will we ever see a combo HDMI SDI device, ATEM? And the answer I got was that they don't think they can do it in a way that will make everybody happy, because people will always ask, why aren't there more HDMI, or why aren't there more SDI? So yeah, that's why I suspect we probably won't see it. But hey, anything can happen. Neil says, yeah, 4x4 would be interesting and not intrude too much on the TV studio's territory. Yeah, one way to do it would be making it not swappable, like hard for HDMI, for SDI, and that way it's like not as capable as an 8 SDI. But yeah, and again, Emerald says they used to have combo devices. I think there was only one. It was the original TV Studio little thin one, which I have up on the shelf somewhere. Oh, where did it go? Somewhere. Oh, it's up there now. But it's they just stopped doing it. So yeah, the original TV Studio and the original rack TV Studio HD, I think it was what it was called. So we can't make everybody happy, so we'll make nobody happy. Yeah, exactly. Built-in deck link route may make more people happy. I think that is going to be like that is super, super cool, super exciting. Gwen says they definitely won't be able to do a SDI HDMI in a way that can make everybody happy. No product can. Yeah. Oh, is it called the production studio? I forgot what it was called. Anyway, it's like it's been years since they've done a combo device. What are you doing? Says, when I saw this, I wondered what you thought of any switcher with Thunderbolt having a DEC link built in. So you get 4 computer in outputs in addition to the 8 HDMI SDI. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a great feature. Unfortunately, Blackmagic is like the only one in the position to do it because they're the only ones that have that DEC link interface. But yeah. YOLO Live is in the chat. Hello, hello. Oh, we should do a collab stream soon. Sure, yeah, maybe we can do one with the YOLO Extreme. Alonzo says on the Blackmagic site, it says the Extreme can receive IP sources on the 8th channel, but nobody mentioned that. Oh, I didn't even notice that. Well, that does sound interesting. I wonder what they mean by that. Let me read this really quick. They say, so they have, I did notice that it says 9 video inputs. I assume that that 9th one is the Thunderbolt interface. Thunderbolt interface for key fill video out and video input. There is a 10th source button, so this is supposed to be mappable. The software wasn't quite finished, so it wasn't exactly obvious what you could do entirely with it, but there are 10 buttons, even though there's only 8 inputs, so you're supposed to be able to choose, like, assign 9 to Super Source or Thunderbolt or whatever you want. So that'll be cool. I don't see the IP mentioned here. Is it just on the product page? Well, I mean, I guess there's not a lot of point in speculating, so we'll have to just figure it out once it starts shipping. And yeah, I did not hear about that though. Index3D is in the chat. Hello from Cyprus. Hopefully you got your dot on the map back there. Oops. 4 years ago today, we launched the PK1 Extreme stand for the ATEM Mini Extreme. Time flies. Time sure does fly. Holy crap. That is a long time. Ooh. Dahan Lee says, will the ATEM G2 be better than the RØDECaster video? I still think they're very, very different devices. Here's what I will say. The ATEM G2 is gonna be a fantastic device, like no doubt. Like it's gonna be a solid ATEM switcher. That said, I would never give an ATEM switcher to someone who has no video switching experience and expect them to be able to just turn it on and use it. Like it's for people who are used to and want to learn about video switching. It's an uphill battle trying to teach somebody about how to use it for, simple podcast recording and in their studio. I've done a lot of videos about it to try to help people learn how to use it, but ultimately you have to want to learn how to do video switchers in order to use an ATEM. Like there's no getting around that. The RØDECaster video does not work like a traditional broadcast video switcher. So if you're used to that, it's going to be really weird. But I would put a RØDECaster video in front of someone who has no interest in learning about video switchers and just wants to use the video switcher. So there's always going to be, both of them are going to have a use for sure. So yeah. It's in the tech specs under streaming sources. Sure enough, total streaming sources up to 8. RTMP SRT video with audio over a local network or internet connection. Mapped to inputs in ATEM software control settings. That sure looks to me like it has the same feature as... I wonder if that's just if it's a typo or if it's intentional, because that looks to me like the same feature they have here, which is this. Yeah, it's the exact same copy paste from the ATEM television studio. So that's oh, but this one actually doesn't say SRT. Well, that is interesting. So that is possible. That's not a mistake, and that we get SRT input. In which case, this thing is going to be amazing. Is the manual out yet? No, looks like not yet. Well, if that's the case, you're going to be able to do some very, very cool stuff with that. DeHanley, the reason for my question, oh, this was about ATEM versus RØDECaster. Trying to see which one would be better for the church media team. I think my comment is exactly the answer. So, is your media team, are they doing this because they want to gain experience in using the higher level broadcast tools and expect to go into the industry of video production at some point? If so, like the ATEM G2 is a very, very good intro ATEM to learn how this stuff works, and then all the skills and knowledge will translate very well to of constellation and higher tier products that will be used in other places. If the media team is like people who are going to do it once or twice and rotate out frequently and don't ever plan on getting into the video world, but are happy to just like help do this for the church, then I would probably go with the RØDECaster, because it's going to be a lot easier to sit somebody down in front of that and explain in like 2 minutes how to use it. Whereas the ATEM is going to take more training to get people to use it well. Andre says the RØDECaster is convenient for small scale stuff. However, the moment it becomes mission critical, go ATEM. I don't even know if I would make it mission critical be the difference there, because the RØDECaster is still, it's a solid device, and I would trust it for critical stuff. Like I did a conference with it, even I was getting paid to do, but I think it's more about like, do you need to teach somebody in 2 minutes how to use it? They're not going to be happy with an ATEM. A RØDECaster will work with someone just sitting down for 2 minutes to figure it out. IT never gets old says a lot also depends on what you need with the outputs. That's also true. So with the ATEM, the outputs are aux outputs, so you can like send a lot of different things to them. The outputs of the RØDECaster are a little bit more limited. You can do some of it, but like if you need to feed a projector, a copy of the slides, and then like also a confidence monitor and maybe a copy of the program sent out to the lobby or something, you're probably going to go with the ATEM for that at that point, because it's more flexible and more solid for that. The RØDECaster has 2 outputs, which you can do some things with, but definitely more limited. Hopefully that gives you some ideas of what to do. Emerald says, it sounds like they just took the Television Studio HD 8 ISO and stripped it down to an ATEM and then added the Ultra Studio features. It is looking like that. It definitely is. I'm very curious. Cool. Okay. Yellow Live says, question for everybody, is free multi-streaming an attractive feature? That's a good question. Put that in the chat. What do you think? I know I get a lot of comments asking about how to stream to 2 places at once on different videos. Some of the devices do it where they can push 2 feeds out, but you're sending like 2 copies, so it's double the bandwidth. So multi-streaming, sometimes in the way that it works with the YoloBox is it pushes 1 copy to their servers, and then they push it out to multiple places. Andre says, I think more the more Blackmagic cloud routing and live editing integration becomes prominent, we will see more action from Blackmagic. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff in their announcement on Friday that is like going to take a while to get to the bottom of. The whole cloud situation is like an ATEM in the cloud and stuff like that. That's going to be really, really interesting to see what you can do with that. Also, the way I did the live stream from NAB was I had the Director Mini sitting at home on my desk here, and it was I was pushing to this from the phone at NAB, and it's so it was effectively like having a Director Mini in the cloud, which is pretty cool. And I will say that was a good, pretty good workflow. It worked really well. Let's go load that show. What? Wrong one. There we go. Oops. What? There's these presets. Must be that one. Oh, it just doesn't save the... Oh, interesting. I thought the place of the fallback images would save as part of the show, but it doesn't. I think that was what I was using for NAB. Yeah. I just swapped out my little placeholders with the other branding. Ecamm is great for, I have 2 minutes to teach someone how to switch. ATEM in the cloud, isn't that basically Ecamm? No, because Ecamm is a desktop app, and like all the video processing is done on your computer. But the ATEM in the cloud is literally, you're sending video streams over the network, and they're getting switched up in the cloud and come back down somehow. Han says, do you think Blackmagic will release a multi-channel SDI HDMI converter? At this point, I do. So, and the reason is because they launched a whole bunch of new rack mount converters. So, where are they? In particular, the one that's my favorite is, oops, that wasn't what I wanted to do. The one that's my favorite is, let's see if I can find it. I think it was in the 2110 family because, gosh, there's too many of them now. Bidirectional, no. Oh my God, there's so many of them. Up, down, cross, that's the one. So this is a rack mount form factor, which is great. It has SDI in, SDI outs, HDMI out. I thought it had HDMI in also. And 2110. Basically has everything. Yeah, HDMI in, HDMI out, SDI in. I think that's the dual channel key fill out, loop out, and 2110. So it can convert between all of them. So it seems like it's now not that much of a stretch to say multi-channel, like multi-channel, smaller like feature set versions of these. They have so many of these now. Like, look at how many different there are. The names are so hard to keep track of too. So I hope so. I hope so. But at least now there's like good rack mount options for these. I hope they do. I'd love to replace a bunch of the microconverters strapped to a one-use shelf. Yeah, you should see the back of my rack here. Neil says, if someone asks me to teach them how to switch in 2 minutes, I just walk away. Do you know anything about the Sony PDT FP1? It's a recorder, video monitor, and FTP and live stream capable as well. No, I've never heard of that. Sony PDT FP1. That's a name. Not sure if these short combos of letters and numbers are better than Blackmagic's extremely long chaining a bunch of words together. What in the world is this? I feel like I saw this at last NAB. That means actually out this year. Yeah, I think I saw that last year. Didn't really get a full idea of what it can do, but interesting. Was there anything new from Decimator at NAB? I didn't even make it. Did they have a booth? I didn't even see them there. My NAB again, it was like I was only there for Sunday, so I made a plan for who to visit, which booths to visit, and it turns out I planned pretty well because I had no downtime. I had a couple of interviews booked and a couple of people planning on seeing, but didn't have a scheduled time and barely made it through all the booths. Okay, so let's go through some of the other things. One of the other Blackmagic things is the Hyperdeck, the new Hyperdeck, which is kind of like having a video assist and a Hyperdeck shuttle combined. So you get the nice little jog wheel, the nice buttons that you get on the shuttle, but then it's also got this video assist like monitor. So it has HDMI and SDI inputs and outputs. So pretty good deal for SDI. So it's in, out, in, loop through, and AB out. So that's a pretty cool thing. This is the booth. Their booths are always just out of control. So it was yeah, I got a bit of a chance to talk to some people there, but I didn't spend nearly as much time at the Blackmagic booth as I have in past years. It was just too many places to go. They had the their little sample podcast being played back from Hyperdecks. They had the new ATEM out on the show floor. They also had the one on the press side of the booth. Oh yeah, the new audio feature. The audio. Let me go back to that. The audio monitoring looks really nice. I didn't really get a chance to play around with it too much, but really nice detailed audio screen in the that comes out one of the HDMI ports now, so you can actually like do your audio management. So that'd be cool. For a second, I thought the physical Hyperdeck was on your desk, not a clip from a video. No, I do not. I do not have one. Is there a plan to make the studio cameras 2110 compatible? I thought they announced that on Friday, actually. Oh, Neil says the beta is available. Yeah, I thought they had announced it at the update on Friday. So download the beta. I don't have any of their cameras. So I do wish I had one. No, I don't need more cameras in here. RØDECaster question from DJ Mike. Can I switch between 3 cameras on the RØDECaster video with 1 microphone? I mean, you can manually switch anything. The auto switching feature relies on mapping an audio channel to a camera. And so you need at least 2 microphones or 2 audio channels to do anything with that, because if you only have 1 audio channel, there's only 1 thing happening. So it doesn't really make any sense. With 2 microphones, you can switch 3 cameras, because you can do like, I forget what it's called on the interface now, but it's when one person is talking, you can switch to their close-up, the other person switches to their close-up, and if it's like ambiguous or quiet, it can switch to the 3rd angle. Andre says, the only thing that turns me off from any Hyperdeck is its super sensitivity to file formats. Yeah, that is an annoying thing about the Hyperdecks, and it's why I'm not using the Hyperdeck to play back the video clips that I'm running in the live stream right now. I am using the app on iPad called Live App. So I've got the clips queued up here, and I can get one ready, and then as soon as I cut to it, the iPad input on the ATEM, it'll just start running the clip. So it's pretty cool for that. And so Hyperdeck does that too. But yeah, it is a much more finicky to export clips from a video editor to be played back by a Hyperdeck. And I don't always trust that I remember the settings correctly. So I'm like, I was doing this I was exporting these files like 2 hours ago this morning, so only had one chance to get it right, really, because there was a bunch of clips, and I'm not going to be able to go back and re-export them if I get it wrong. So I just export them as H.264, load them into the iPad from the camera roll, and it is great. Live app is extremely convenient. I will drop a link to that app in the chat because it's super handy. Make sure I got that right. Yeah. Frankie says, my wish from Blackmagic or anybody, 8-channel recorder with loop through for live mix, then playback on all channels. So you can remix live after the event. 8-channel recorder with loop through, playback on all channels. Oh, so like you can play back all 8 channels simultaneously after the event's over. That would be a monster of a device. Does Live App run on Silicon Macs as well as iPads? I suppose so. Let's find out. It does rely on taking over an external monitor, and I don't know how iPad apps do that on Macs. But if that is possible, how do I do this? There. Oh, that's weird. I should have already. I thought I already bought this. Why is it showing me that I have to purchase it again? Is it because it's on my computer? It's not a cheap app. It's $50, but it is absolutely worth it. It's weird that it is making me buy it again. So I guess I won't find out. Usually you can re-download it on the same Apple account. Weird. Oh well. Oh, their website says it does. Blackmagic's pickiness about certain things is definitely annoying. Thinking about the SSD list for recording. Yeah, I mean, they're just upfront about it. A lot of things are picky about SSDs and then don't tell you, and people get confused about why they don't work. So at least they're upfront about it. Okay, other booth. It makes you buy it again, even if you're on family sharing. Well, but I've definitely re-downloaded it onto an iPad before. Oh, Alan says Live App does work on Silicon Macs. I use an M1 Mac Mini, works great. So how does it work with the external monitor? Is it able to take over one of your external monitors? Because that's like really what it needs to do, so you get your control interface separate from. Not if they made a special Mac version. Okay, I haven't gone to that part of the App Store developer platform. Mini is another playback player, and Blackmagic will treat it like a hyperdeck. Yeah, the Live App doesn't emulate the hyperdeck, but instead it connects to the ATEM rather than the ATEM connecting to it. So it works differently, but I don't know. Live App also has a bunch of other features like the overlay and the draw feature, so it's handy. I like it. I've been using it for this stuff. Speaking of which, let's go over to the small rig booth. So that was my next stop on the way to something else. I just stopped by. I didn't have anybody there I was planning on visiting. They had this giant tripod on display, but one of the things that there was a lot of at NAB was people running around with Osmo Pocket 3s. And it was like the popular camera of the year. And so I found their Pocket 3 cage. They had a couple different cages there, but when I was looking at them, someone came up to me and was explaining the rig, and I was sitting there like carrying around my Pocket 3 filming stuff. That's the camera I brought with me. I was only using the Pocket 3 this year, and I had my little cage on there for the Pocket 3. And they were like, "Oh, that's actually really cool." This one's from Newer. It has this GoPro mount that comes off. So let me show you. I'll show you why I like this. So you can take that off, and then this flattens down, and it kind of like snaps. So there's a GoPro on both sides, so you can mount it that direction, or you can mount it that direction. But they also fold down to get out of the way. The only thing I don't like about this one is this little, the way this little button clips in. But it is a nice little cage. Anyway, I showed them the cold shoe mount and the GoPro things, and they were like, "Oh, that's really cool," because theirs did not have that. But they also had that little stabilizer arm for it, which is cool. So yeah, small rig, very brief stop there. Didn't really get much, didn't have much time, so mostly just went to go see what they had. Then we've got, oh, and my other monitor's down. That's a bummer. Oh, and then I stopped at the KiloView booth, which is still on my list of things to review or to test out here. I've been doing some tests with the P3 Mini that they sent. The update that they did just at NAB week was they added support for USB webcams. So now you can actually plug in the Pocket 3, which I had on the desk there, and use it as a webcam into the P3 Mini. And then you can use that, you can stream that over its bonded connection. So that's pretty cool. I think that's going to be a useful feature for a lot of people. So now it's not just limited to HDMI cameras. So I will do, now that I've got that running, I actually have their server software running on a server that I set up a while ago. Still turned on, costing me $5 a month or whatever, but I guess that's fine. So I'm running their server software in the cloud and testing out the bonding feature. And now that I got a couple SIM cards active and data plans, that's my plan, to be able to test it with the Pocket 3 and maybe using it for some streams out and about very soon. Emerald said, oops. Oh, Brad says, I will buy an improved Pocket 4. Until then, going to try and kill my legacy GoPros. Get every last dollar of use out of the GoPros as you can, because you should never buy another one. They're dead to me, frankly. Sorry. I don't say that often. They're just dead to me. There's no reason to buy a new one anymore. The Action 5 is a better GoPro. The Pocket 3 is better for everything else that you would have used a GoPro for. The AVKANS is a better GoPro for live streaming. There's no, they're not differentiated anymore. What did I miss about the GoPros? It's just been a slow decline of, they do updates every year, releasing a new camera with barely any improvements, and sometimes they change the battery shape just because. Sometimes they change the physical size so that you have to buy all new accessories, and nothing about them is actually like improved really in any meaningful way. Sometimes there'll be like one new gimmick feature or whatever that they probably could have done in a firmware update to the older cameras, and they use it as an excuse to launch new hardware every year. But yeah, if you want a good action camera for stabilized video, the DJI Action 5 is really good. It also has the ability to connect a USB to HDMI dongle like for a computer and get HDMI out, which you, in order to get on the GoPro, you need to buy their media mod, which is like $100, huge. And then you get HDMI out, and even then it doesn't even work well unless you add the GoPro Labs feature to it. It's a whole thing. If you're trying to do live streaming with it, you should get this one because it's like cheaper than a GoPro, bigger battery. It has SRT, NDI, has the HDMI port on the back. It's like, yeah, there's just no reason to get a GoPro anymore. They changed the battery format for the Hero 13 again. Oh my god. Yeah. I just spotted the camera feed on the Mac behind you. Very good. Thanks. It's running there's a Blackmagic converter inside that box running the LUT that makes it black and white. Brad says, haven't bought one since Hero 8, never buying another. Good. Hero 8, I mean, that was still like a good camera, and I really feel like the new ones are not even that much better. So, great. I need to check if the P3 also got that. Yeah, you should. I don't know. I only looked at the P3 Mini. So the one that I have here is the P3 Mini. The P3 is quite a bit bigger, but this is it's essentially a bonded video encoder. So it's one channel. It's not a switcher, but it does HDMI or SDI or now USB webcam in, and then it has 3 SIM card slots on it. You can also give it Ethernet to whatever, and USB modem, so iPhone tethering or whatever, and Wi-Fi. And you can give it all those connections, and then it'll bond them all together to their server software that you can run on your own hardware in the cloud or whatever, to push a video feed to out of it. So, yeah, I'm going to be running around with this in Portland this summer now that the weather is good and there are bike rides to film. And then I'll do a proper video about it. Aaron's on a mission to kill a GoPro. Yes. YoloBox bonding versus the proper kilo view taking input from a YoloBox, which is better? I mean, probably the kilo view is better at bonding than the YoloBox. Even just the antennas on this are better. But I will hopefully be able to actually compare the bonding on that somehow. Sean says I went from GoPro 3 to 10, and I think that will be it for me. Okay, now that's a significant upgrade. The 10 is definitely better than the 3. I will give them that. They were doing solid upgrades, I feel like, in the GoPro 3 to like 5 to 7 or 8. Like those were pretty solid upgrades, but then since then it's just been silly. Certainly, Laz says DJI's lineup is genuinely absurd, to be fair. Incredible product line. I do wonder what the tariffs effect on pricing is going to be. Yeah, that's going to be interesting to see. I know the DJI really has a lot going on. It's wild. Aaron doesn't need to do that. They've done it themselves. Yeah, yeah. Can you show the AVKANS on screen with a name? Yes. Let me grab the link. I'll just drop the link in the chat. I have a video I was trying to get this out before NAB, didn't make it. This is the camera. I've done some videos about it, or some live streams about it already a couple weeks ago. It was before I left on the long trip. So you can go back and look at old live stream to find live demos of this, configuring it with the app and all that in live stream time, not 3-minute video time. But I do have a video coming out soon about this that's going to be more concise. This has been solid. I used this yesterday during the bike ride. It got rained on, but it seemed to do fine. A little bit of rain, drizzle. This was sitting up on a pole 20, 30 feet away from me, getting a nice close-up shot of all the riders going by. And the battery was... Let's see, how's the battery doing? I didn't even check. Held up just fine the whole time, streaming over SRT to the Director Mini. Amazing. Like, just, it's on a pole, no wires, nothing. Fantastic. It was exactly what I wanted. Oh, here's the GoPro progression. 5 got stabilization, 6 was non-leaky. Is that waterproof? 7 was solid. Oh, 6 was what, like a waterproof 5. 7 was solid. 8 was a first needing a media mod. I remember that. 9 was solid. 10 was GPU, 2 CPU. 11 fixed all the issues with the 10. 12 they removed GPS. 13 they add GPS again, but new battery. That's all over the place. Can the ATEM Mini Cloud also stream to YouTube, Facebook directly? I don't know. It's not like out yet, but I would assume so. We'll find out. Hopefully, I'll be able to test it. Okay, that was the KiloView booth. P3 Mini. Stay tuned because I'm going to, try to do some more tests with that. I've got my physical SIM card for my Android device that I can move around and put it into the P3 Mini. I've got my new T-Mobile iPhone for another data connection. So between those two, I'll try to connect both of those to the P3 and do a stream on that at some point soon. Yes, according to the demo, ATEM Mini Cloud can push to YouTube. Blackmagic demo shows hints of sending out to YouTube. Cool. I was watching the announcement video on Friday while in meetings, so I was getting like 3 minutes here and there of audio between, like, if a call ended 3 minutes before the next call, I would like turn back on the audio and then I would leave it running on the side muted so I could like glance at it in between things. So I really have not finished even going through all the full announcement from Blackmagic. It was just so much. Cool. Okay. Next booth is Elgato. So they had their normal little creator kit here. Nothing new there, I don't think. But they also had their Stream Deck Studio BitFocus collab situation going on. The new stuff is they have these little panels, which are Stream Deck buttons without the case, but it's a USB interface. So it's really meant to be like built into desks or like making custom consoles, making custom desks. Very cool. The other thing is the this new product, which is essentially a PoE to USB box. So it's this little thing that sits, they made it fit exactly inside the Stream Deck XL, but you don't have to put it there. And it is PoE in and then USB to the Stream Deck. And essentially what it does is it makes any Stream Deck into a network-based button panel the same way that the Studio, like the rack mount one is. So that is pretty cool. I'm actually really excited for that because I have a couple of Stream Decks here that I would love to be able to move around more. Right now, you have to either get a long USB cord or dedicate a Raspberry Pi to one. So being able to just grab PoE for it is like, now you will be able to, plus with these buttons, you'll be able to make very custom things, all PoE powered. So nice little network controllers. And that's gonna be more affordable than buying the One U panel too. So that will be very cool. Where was the... Robert says, have you heard of the Sprolink MD2 4K? I can't remember the exact product name. What is the MD2 4K? I think actually, isn't that this? It is. So fun story about this. The Sprolink MD2 4K. Let me just drop the link to the website in the chat. So this is they call it a presentation switcher, because and I don't have the picture from last year, but so they had this at the booth this year also, at the Sprolink booth. I stopped by there to say hi. I had met them last year, so I like to go back and visit and say hi to people when I can. They had a couple things out there. One of them was the MD2 4K, which is actually, it looks surprisingly a lot like a Director Mini. You can see that one there, pretty much same size. It also has 2 batteries on the back. It has an antenna. It has 2 HDMIs in, but here is the special part: HDMI loop, HDMI out, and UVC out. And this is because this thing is based on a design I had written up a very long time ago. And this is the website I made for this a long time ago, saying I want a device that can do this. Essentially, input 1, you can see how long ago it was because that was my old set. Input 1, input 2 is a screen. I want to be able to cut to a layout of side by side where one is scaled down and one is cropped. Ideally, be able to change the position of that. Also load up a still graphic. And then this is good enough to do a live stream of a presentation. You can cut to the presenter when the slides are not relevant. You can go full screen on slides if there's a lot of detail needed. You can do side by side most of the time, probably. The key is that, so a lot of switchers can do that part. The key is that the outputs have never been exactly right to do this. You also often want to feed a copy of the slides only to the room, which means not the program feed. So you need a output that can be dedicated to the slides. Or the other use is if you're doing a Zoom presentation, you actually want your camera only to be fed out to Zoom as the camera while recording the layout. And very few products have been able to do this. They are only just now, like in the last year, starting to come out. The RØDECaster video can do this, but it also can do a ton more. This little switcher is the first one that is like purpose built for this. They literally like saw this web page and then built this switcher. I have a picture from last year at NAB of them holding up the phone of like, look, we built this, and I need to power this on. Let me see. Can I grab power from? Yeah, I need to power this on because they left a little note in the product for me. So they sent me home with this, and when you turn it on, my name is on the screen. They put a custom boot screen on here because it was just a nice little way to say hi. So this little, this is the little mini presentation switcher with the two inputs. It can do the layouts. It's got the loop out, UVC out, HDMI out, so you can do all sorts of stuff with it. I saw it last year, and then it didn't. I guess it wasn't actually in production, but now it is. So they sent me home with one, so I'll be able to do a video about this very soon. So that was cool. The other fun thing they have is they also did a combo HDMI SDI switcher. So they have 4 inputs. These two support 4K and scaled. The switcher, I believe, is 1080, but it can do the 4K inputs. And then 4 SDI and HDMI out, another aux out, also UVC, 2 mics, headphones, and yeah, SD card slot on that side. And so nice little box. It's interesting to see that there's a whole bunch of companies now doing this kind of dual SDI HDMI, which is nice. The OC has one now, of course, and yeah, it'll be it's good to see. This is good utilities. There's oh yeah, there's this button here which turns it into portrait mode. I have the one at the booth doing it. This is a similar one to that, but built into a case. But there's a button that turns the whole device into vertical mode if you want to do a vertical live stream. So it can just switch really quickly, which is kind of cool. So that is Sprolink. That refresh rate on the signal loss screen would make a cool video for technical difficulties. That is a good point. This is the when the Director Mini goes into the low power mode, for some reason the refresh rate on it is low enough that like you get these scan lines. When it's brighter, they're not as noticeable and they kind of go away. But I can't get there's no frame rate that that doesn't flicker in that when it's dim. It's really annoying. I think the new one doesn't do that. Just to confirm, the footage from NAB is from the Pocket Cam. Yeah, everything I've filmed at NAB is coming from the Pocket 3. It is such a good camera. Like, I guess that's why everybody had one this year. Literally, like, I just kept seeing them left and right, people running around with them all over the place. It was, yeah. Did they say when the Elgato PoE thing will ship? Oh, I don't remember if they did. I don't remember. Sorry. Super simple. I'm trying to stream from an SRT feed from the directory menu to the home PC into OBS. So I need to run an SRT server, or can OBS accept the feed? I think OBS has an SRT server in it. Didn't I do that the other day? If you add a media source, not local file. I think here, if you just type like that, I think that works. I don't know how to tell it it's 1920 1080 before it shows up. I think that works. Let's find out. I should be able to just stream from the director mini that's on right now on the desk. If I can find the IP 10.11.70.1. There we are. So I should be able to go in here and stream to SRT caller. Let's call it OBS. And then I put in my computer IP, which is, I think it's that. And let's see what happens. No, something's not right. I may have got the IP address wrong. It should be. No, that is right. Wait. I completely typed that wrong. It should have been 11. I don't know what I was thinking. And go. Nine, 8, 8, 8. Huh. I thought I did this before. Don't know why it's not working. I can't remember, but maybe somebody will remember how to do it. There's a dedicated help page for SRT somewhere on the web. Okay, we'll have to come back to that. Oh, mode equals listener. Let's try that. Oh, look at that. It's showing up on top of the stream because my OBS output is actually set as the downstream key. So sure enough, the director mini is streaming into OBS. I can scene switch, and I just scaled it down into the corner. I don't have any cameras plugged into the director mini right now, so it's just, yeah. But yeah, totally works. Look at that. The trick was that. And then we'll get rid of that. Cool. The Tupi Show. I'm looking to switchers. What would you recommend around the $500 mark? Price is not enough alone to tell you which switcher to get. What is it for? Who's running it? The OC Go Stream. Oh my gosh, is a great value. Sub 500 for sure. It works more like an ATEM compared to a YoloBox or Director Mini does, or even the RØDECaster. Do you need ISO recording? Do you need it to be easy for people to show up and use without training? Do you need... So yeah, need more criteria in order to actually know what's going to be a good option for you. easy to use, and I'm editing it all. So it sounds like you probably need ISO recording if you're doing. Oh, here's the 2-camera setup running to OBS from Sony FX13's VE10. If you're editing later, then you need what's called ISO recording, which means that it can record all the inputs at the same time, and there are very few options that can do that. So ATEM Mini Pro ISO is probably the cheapest. There is the new OC switcher, the new GoStream, but it's not shipping yet, and that's the one that I got. That I had to leave at NAB for them, but they're sending it back to me, so it should be on its way now. It is called something ISO, but I don't remember the price on it. Yeah. Also, who knows what the price is going to be anymore with everything that's going on. Oh, 800. Okay. Their website says 800, so that's out of your budget. But it's 8 input anyway, so it's like cheap for 8 inputs. Probably the ATEM Mini is the cheapest then. ATEM Mini Pro ISO in particular. Cool. Okay, that was Sprolink. We'll get to more demos of those later. OBSBot had a booth. They were going full in on virtual production as the demo of their new camera. New OBSBot Tail Air 2 was the highlight of their show. They had it set up tracking this astronaut walking around the green screen, and the virtual set was done in Unreal Engine. So the demo is that Unreal is able to track the camera position of the PTZ camera that's doing auto tracking and map that to the virtual set. So, I mean, it's pretty cool. It's it's a real PoE camera. It's a real PTZ camera at this point. It's got SDI out, HDMI out, PoE, USB. Like, it looks pretty solid. So, I will hopefully be getting one in shortly. They wanted to send me it before NAB, and I wasn't at home to get it, so I was like, just wait till after. So yeah, hopefully I'll be able to get one in to try. It has a optical zoom, so it's gonna be a lot better zoom than the original Tail Air, which was all digital. I think it's only 5x optical, but it's still better than nothing. So it's not gonna be like your telephoto zoom the way that, you know, some of the larger PTZs do, but definitely better than nothing. So I am excited to try that out. Paul says, does YoloXtream have an easily usable clip player that can be used live like you'd see a news anchor by pushing a button to start and stop the clip? Kind of, yeah. So you add clips as video sources so that they show up with little thumbnails of the video source. In my opinion, it's not quite as easy to use for like a whole bunch of clips, but it's for an occasional clip. Like I've done it where I've played back like a drone, 3-minute drone video or something. For more rapid fire playback, like what I'm doing right now, the thing I'm doing right now, I would probably recommend, which is, I wish I had a slightly better angle of this. Because if I just zoom out on my desk, I can move things around a little bit. So this is Live App, where I've got a bunch of, brighten this up. I've got a bunch of clips queued up for this, and I can just like tap on that to queue it, and then as soon as I cut on the ATEM, or I can manually play here, this just plays out the HDMI port or HDMI dongle. So like here, why don't I just plug in one of these things? Let's grab number 3. Into here, and then go out. You get the iPad, There we go. So now when I play that, you can see it's just going into the Director Mini, so or whatever YoloBox or whatever you wanted over HDMI. I think this is easier to manage because it's like bigger interface. You can actually scroll the clip if you wanted to navigate through it. You can, yeah. I would probably give somebody this over trying to. If it's just one or two clips, it's fine on the YoloBox, but it gets a little bit annoying when there's like a bunch of them. The ring around the front of the OBS is it the on color or is it tally? Oh, that's a good question. Speaking of wanting to navigate through this clip, there it's red. I think that's just a metal ring. I don't think that's a light. Oh, this blue line is on. I don't know if it's got tally support, actually. That's a great question. We will have to find out. Use the AVKANS for more desk flexibility. Yeah, that's true. I really should. Let's bring this guy back. That's zoomed in there. I should be able to get a decent. Nope, I'm in the way of that angle. Well, you can see my iPhone over here, but my shoulder's in the way of the iPad. Oh well. See how crazy messy my desk is right now. Brad says, I have my own suspicions, but what do you think of Atomos entering the PTZ market? I did not even stop at their booth. I was too busy flying around to other things. I have no idea what I think of it. It seems like they are adding a lot of products. I guess maybe I'm skeptical. We will see. Okay, that was OBSBot. Yeah, that was the main new thing there. I should mount that as my overhead. Not a bad idea. I don't have a good way to mount it because it's just hanging off that pole right now. But I could also put it like higher up out of the way somewhere so I can get more shots. I probably should. On the way over to North Hall. So the way that the expo hall was laid out was the center hall was under construction, so there was no way to go between North and South. So there was a bunch of stuff in South Hall, bunch of stuff in North Hall, giant gap in the middle that you couldn't go through inside, so you had to go outside. So I was like, not gonna do that run back and forth multiple times. So I was like, okay, let's get all the South Hall stuff out of the way and then go to North Hall. So on the way out of North Hall, I ran into the Cinco booth that I was not planning on stopping in and did just a quick little stop there. And they had a couple things that were interesting. This little mini wireless HDMI transmitter. So really curious to see how that does, but it looks just like a mini version of other transmitters. And the other thing they had was this really bizarre product called XView M4 Mobile Monitor. It's this little tiny screen, and it's got a MagSafe thing on the back. So it's meant to be like a selfie monitor for your phone. So she's just launching the camera app and then showing that the screen is actually just showing a copy of her iPhone screen. And I couldn't quite see what she was doing to set up the pairing between the phone and the screen, but it looked like it was just AirPlay. So interesting little mini AirPlay battery powered monitor for selfie view, but I could see some interesting uses of that. Offline connection available. Yeah. It says 50 meters line of sight, MagSafe, ultra low latency. Yeah, really interesting. So yeah, she was explaining that one of the uses of it is you can use your rear facing cameras, which are always gonna be better quality than the front, and then still see what your phone is doing. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, a micro TV with AirPlay. Yeah. Is there a device that can stream to LinkedIn and YouTube simultaneously? I'm pretty sure LinkedIn supports RTMP input, so anything that can stream to multiple RTMP can do it. So the OC Go Stream has 3 outputs. The YoloBox has the multi-streaming feature that does 1 feed to their servers, and then they do the multi-stream out. Any Restream service can do it, like Restream.io. So yeah, plenty of options. You just need to be able to get multiple RTMP out of your streaming box. So after I did a quick stop at Cinco, I took the very long walk from South Hall to North Hall in the sun. It was getting pretty warm by that point. Got into North Hall, and first stop was the Hollyland booth. Because I actually had an appointment set up with the Hollyland folks. They are also very busy. They have a lot of things coming out. So they have this new wireless microphone with wireless headphones that can be used for monitoring. So you can actually pair the headphones to that receiver for monitoring. So this is showing it on top of a camera, showing the monitoring status, and then you can see me trying to figure out how to use the touch screen. Somewhere I figured it out. But yeah, it's actually paired directly to that receiver. And you can choose what you want to monitor, which is kind of cool. So that's neat. The other thing they had there was a bunch of new wireless HDMI transmitters, like is a large part of their product portfolio. This one is unreleased and unnamed, but it looks like similar to the Cosmo G2 line. No name on that yet, but pretty beefy transmitter receiver, so it'll be probably good range. SDI HDMI combo, as you can see. They also had, I don't know what happened to the other clip. Oh well. They had a couple other new like monitor pairing with the receiver Pyro line. So, did I use the loop? No, I never actually did. I refuse. It's so silly. It's the silliest thing in the world. Like, why do you put a bunch of cars in a tube, require that a person drives them, but only give them a single file line to go down? Like, that is what a train is for. Why not just make it a train that can run automated with no people? It's already a track. Like, it's so stupid. Anyway, what's the name of the app I'm using for queuing the video? It's called Live App. It's really hard to search for. I'll put the website in the chat. So the website is in the chat. That should link out to the App Store version of it. I should put the iPad on the TV too. That's more fun. Sharif says, I initially thought the ATEM Extreme G2 supported 4K, but it doesn't. It's not worth getting one at the moment. I prefer the Extreme G1 instead. YoloBox does support 4K. What do you use 4K for? Yeah, the ATEM mini line has never supported 4K. There's never been a 4K version of it. There's the 4K Constellation and TV Studio, which are the much higher end ATEMs. I doubt we'll ever see a 4K mini at this point. But also, like, I think I'm very, very skeptical that people actually need 4K streaming. 4K recording, on the other hand, I get. 4K ISO recording is super useful. But it's just a lot more data to handle, and I think most people don't actually need to stream in 4K. So the Hollyland stop, I have an interview recorded with them at the booth, so I'll put more details from that interview into proper NAB recap video. This is like the sneak peek of the NAB recap. And then next stop, coming up to the end here, was YOLO Live. So they had their YOLO Cam, which I actually have one here that just arrived before I left for the long trip. So I'll hopefully be able to show you that more soon. YOLO Cam. They also have a new PTZ camera, which has some amount of optical zoom in it. And then, yeah, I don't even know the full feature set of this. I don't even know if they know the full feature set of this. Still in development, but they had it paired to the Extreme, YoloBox Extreme. They also are now making a case. Well, it's actually a YC Onion case, but they've got their branding on it, and they are selling it in their store because a lot of people were asking for this, or cage, sorry, not case. It looks nice, like you would expect from a YC Onion cage. This is the beta of the camera controlling the PTZ. Very beta. I think they were surprised I found the menu. But yeah, it's got like full camera control over the camera, which is nice. So that will be cool. This is their PTZ, so you'll be able to actually move the camera around in addition to just changing the settings too. Oh, and there's Frank coming over. He was like, "Oh, you found the secret menu." And yeah, you can see me filming with the Pocket 3 there. That little thing did really good during the event. So I'll be able to show some more of that soon. I've got the Extreme here. I was waiting for the less beta firmware before I start doing an actual recording of it. And I've got the YOLO Cam here to do some testing with once I get it out of the box. Then I went to the last stop, which was Rode. So Rode, I always have a fun booth. It's actually a corner of the B&H booth, but they had these new microphones, colorful wireless goes, which was just a lot more fun. And they had this little charging strip thingy that connects to their it's like a consolidated charging cable, but it was kind of cute. So they had these colors, and they also launched new colors, I think, the next day. So there's a whole bunch of color options available now. They also had, of course, the RØDECaster video, which was the first time the RØDECaster video has been at NAB because it was not there last year. The RØDECaster video was set up as to demo like a podcast, so people could play around with switching like a podcast. And fun fact, the podcast videos here are the podcast videos that are being played back in this into the RØDECaster. Behind the booth is the exact same setup that I had done to test auto switching in the RØDECaster that I'd done videos about. So it's the 1080 videos combined into a 4-up 4K video, playing through a 4K player into a video wall controller, splitting it out into separate HD video feeds that are running into the RØDECaster. So they watched my video and they were like, that makes a ton of sense. And then started doing it and built it out for the booth, which is great. So I love it. So yeah, they had that set up at the booth for people to try out play around with the RØDECaster, switching actual content, which is cool. So yeah, we should hopefully see some updates for the RØDECaster video soon. They are working on new features. There was a whole beta program they already went through a couple of months ago now and launched a bunch of updates to the RØDECaster video already. They're doing that round again of like new beta software coming out. So I'll get to test that out soon. I don't have it yet, but there are some pretty exciting features coming. But they didn't have anything at the show to announce just yet. So keep an eye out for some new Rode stuff. Um, oh, and then right at the end, I was like, you know, it'd be fun. Let's try to stream an interview from the booth. And this was okay. So at the beginning of NAB, or on Sunday morning before the expo opened, I did a live stream, which is my normal time, right? Like I normally stream at 9 a.m. So I went live on my channel at 9 a.m. outside the show expo floor because it was not open yet. And that setup was, I think, really interesting. So I left my Director Mini at home on the desk here, and it was running a SRT server in the phone or in the Director Mini that my mobile phone was pushing to over the internet. So I had my rig set up, which was, and now I don't have the videos for that. So the rig I had was just an iPhone, wireless mic in a little cage and a light and stuff, streaming just one SRT feed back to my studio, where I was then overlaying the chat in the Director Mini, and I had the Director Mini webpage up on my computer, and I could switch inputs and stuff. So because I already had that set up and the Director Mini was just sitting here on the show floor, I was like, I wonder what would happen if I just tried to go live from inside the expo hall. And I tried it. And mostly as a test to see, would this work for next year? Could I actually do some more live streams during the event? And it worked better than I thought it would. So what is this streaming to? Oh, it's streaming to OBS. Right. I forgot I had done that. Let me turn that off. I was like, why is the Director Mini streaming? So this, and I'll let this video roll. This is the video coming from my iPhone, just sitting on the counter over the internet to the Director Mini at home. So this is SRT at about 2 megabits H.265 coming through live. And the only problem with my test was I forgot that at the end of my show I have the credit screen with the color overlay on it, so you can kind of see the little stripe colors are still there. So ignore that. But the video quality is perfectly smooth and fantastic. So I think it might actually work to expect I can get a 2 megabit stream out from most places on the show floor. And that's just with one phone. That's not even a bonded connection. Oh, I used 2 iPhones pre-show. I did. So I had a second phone that I used to show the overview of the rig, but that was also sending SRT out. So they were on different data plans too. So which app did I use SRT out from the iPhone? It's called Moblin. It's open source, and I was only using just the most basic feature of it. So I just dropped a link in the chat. It is on the App Store, but I just dropped a link to the GitHub where you can find more information about it. It has a ton of features that I was not using. I was just using it as basically an SRT encoder. And it still worked really well. So I might try some more live streams next year if I have more time at NAB. Try to actually do a live walking around the show floor. I think it'd be kind of fun, especially if I get maybe the P3 Mini up and running, and then I can have a couple of different data plans and it's bonding. I think it would work well. The real challenge in any of this is getting the rig down small enough that I don't hate myself for carrying it around all day. And that was one of the reasons for using the Pocket 3 this year, is this on the end of the Insta360 stick was tiny, and I didn't mind walking around with it. Even the iPhone rig that I had was because it's it ends up being a little bit heavy. I needed a stronger tripod, and then that is now more stuff to carry around. It's a little bit heavier, so we'll see what I can do. I would love it if I could use this as a camera, and then I don't know, this with an iPhone somehow I feel would be a good combo. It just can't be rigged up heavy enough that it then needs a bigger tripod, because then it's more stuff to lug around. So we'll see. But yeah, that worked out great. So I will probably try that next year. Okay, let's see what's going on in the chat. Evo says, "What's your recommendation for 4-guest wired setup? I currently use 4 Rode pod mics, 2 combo in, 2 audio via HDMI, but the audio through HDMI is pretty noisy." Oh, weird. Really? I mean, I guess that's the camera's fault. I haven't used a Canon camera in years. I'm kind of surprised that it's giving you a problem. Maybe it's like a ground loop problem. Um, if you're using, what are they going into? Actually, pod mics have a the pod mics is the one with the dual USB and XLR interface, right? I would probably go all, like, if you like Rode stuff, I would go all Rode. Just like get the RØDECaster Duo or RØDECaster Pro with the 4 inputs, do all wired mics. Because then you get the knob, the sliders that can adjust the audio easier. Having all your audio being brought in the same way is definitely useful because it's usually easier to manage that way, and then you don't have this problem that you're having. The RØDECaster Video is also good, but you only get 2 wired mics from it. But the RØDECaster Pro is a solid box for sure. Andre says, those 3 intro tutorial videos for RØDECaster Video, I showed them to someone who knows nothing about switching, and they said, now I can use this alone. Oh, great. Love it. Glad to hear it. Brad says, I enjoyed the lighter attendance. There were definitely some missing vendors from last year. What are your thoughts regarding crowd size and expectations for the future? Yeah, I did notice it was definitely lighter. The other thing I noticed is that my press pass that I registered for, normally you only get access to the expo hall as press. But my original confirmation email said that I'd only registered for the expo hall. And then like 2 or 3 weeks before the show, my registration had been updated to give me full access to everything, including the conferences and like everything. So clearly they needed some more people in the event. They had some extra room to fill. Sadly, I couldn't take advantage of any of it, but yeah, the as I was only there for a day, barely had time to get through the expo hall myself. But we'll see what happens next year. It was definitely lighter. The halls were not as full. Interesting. I hope it doesn't mean that things are like going down. We'll see what happens with all the this whole situation this year. See if it affects NAB next year. I don't know. We will see. The Andre says, what resolution, frame rate, and protocol are you streaming at? Just saw your stream is utilizing the better VPNet 09 pipeline. My normal setup. So it's I'm doing now SRT from the ATEM Mini Pro to YouTube because I have the SRT beta feature on YouTube. 1080p 30. Ultra low latency on YouTube. And yeah, been doing that for months now, and it's been working very well. Gwen says, reminder that you want to talk about the bike stream. Don't know if you talked about what you wanted to talk about. Yeah, so that's kind of the end of my NAB story. The next thing is oh, wait. So you are using the RØDECaster Video right now. 2 pod mics XLR and 2 pod mics USB. That would work. Yep, that should work. If you don't need the auto switching feature right now, then it's also a really good combo to get a RØDECaster Pro and then run just USB audio into the RØDECaster Video, so all your audio is in the RØDECaster Pro. And maybe stay tuned for some updates on that. So yeah, after NAB, I only had Sunday there. I took off Sunday night to the airport, back to the airport, had to go to the Bay Area for a work event, which was a lot of fun. It was a good event. Good to see everybody there as well. Lots of stuff happening in that space too. It was absolutely wild. So that was like completely all immersed in that. So I haven't even, like, I barely had time to download the clips off my SD cards from NAB. But that was like Monday through Thursday, and I got home Thursday night. So I've only been home a couple days. So yeah, yesterday was Saturday, and Saturday morning, was a bike ride in Portland called the Lads 500, which is a bike ride of a bunch of, I don't even know the official count. I guess I have a video now. I can maybe count in the video. But fun ride where everyone rides around this circle called Lads Edition in 500 times. That's the goal. It's a relay race, so it's not one person riding around, but you as a team, you have to get 500 laps. It's a lot of laps. So I set up my little table. I brought stuff on a trailer. I brought the giant anchor battery, which was way not necessary. I only used 5% of it for the whole like couple hours I was there. And was doing some live streams. So that's where I had the AVKANS Go set up on a tripod. It was basically like right at the edge of the road, so it was getting a good clear shot of the riders. And then I wanted to see, can I get a drone flight of the video? So, okay, before I show the drone footage, I of course need to explain how it's possible to fly a drone over people, especially a crowd this large, because in the US it is usually not possible. And people have definitely posted drone photos of this ride and other rides before who are absolutely not doing it legally, which you can tell because up until extremely recently, it wasn't even possible to buy a drone that could do this. The trick is you need a few things to line up. You need a drone with enclosed propellers. So this meets the criteria. This is the DJI Neo. The propellers do not poke out of the shell. So if this were to fall on somebody, there are no propellers to slice them up. The drone, including everything on it, so if you're adding prop guards, that includes the prop guards, needs to be under 250 grams. The drone also needs to be broadcasting remote ID. The Neo does not. So that means you have to buy a remote ID module, which is what this Velcro is for, and stick the module on top. The drone still flies fine because the module is only like 16 grams or something. So with enclosed prop guards and remote ID, and it all being under 250 grams, and you have a Part 107 license, then you can fly it over people, including crowds. That's the Category 1 exception. If you're above 250 grams, it is possible that you might be able to, but there's a bunch more requirements, including the drone has to be certified, and they have to, like, the manufacturer, or I guess you can certify somebody else's drone, but no drones are certified for that right now. So, the DJI Neo, the new DJI Flip, I can't find a citation. I can't find a citation of the actual weight. The weight on the website says it's less than 249 grams, which is not helpful because it has prop guards, but I also can't confirm if it has a remote ID. So if you add the remote ID module, it might tip it over 249. But it might. If it does, then that is another one that works. And that only came out very recently. So, and the Neo came out in August. So last summer there wasn't one. Oh no, the Hover Air. You can add remote ID to that also with a module. But these ones are nice because you can pair them with a real controller and get joysticks, which is great. So with all that said, I brought this to fly around in circles and film the ride. And this is what we got. So this is actually a snippet from the live stream itself. And I was going around that edge of that circle trying to get a good consistent loop going, and I managed to make it 2 loops around. There were no trees in the center, so I was able to avoid the trees. This, unfortunately, I was not recording on the drone during this, so this is actually a recording from the Director Mini after the... So it's the RTMP feed coming out of the controller into the Director Mini, so it's recording that. So the couple little glitches you see are because the RTMP feed is stuttering a bit. The other shots I have in here are recorded on the drone, and they're better quality, but still, the quality of this is nowhere near the quality of the DJI Mini 3. So that's just the price you pay for being able to actually get a shot like this. So that was kind of fun. And yeah, you know, I didn't feel bad because if this thing did hit a branch and crash, it would bounce off someone's face before it hurt them, and or a bike would run over it, the drone would be crushed, and it would not really hurt the bike at all. So yeah. The DJI Mini 3, on the other hand, that thing's got propellers that will slash the crap out of your face if it hits you. I would not fly that over a crowd like this. Okay, this one is actually recorded from... This is recorded onto the internal memory, so the quality is quite a bit better. Still not that great. Also, the flight path that I was doing here, I was not as coordinated by this point. Couldn't quite get the circular flight path lined up right. Still kind of fun, though. Yeah, the other fun thing about the drone, when I was... So I tested the drone out in the morning before the ride. It was like 7 a.m. I had it in the studio set up, and I configured the RTMP stream key and stuff on the controller for the DJI Neo, and did a test stream to the Director Mini. It was great, right? Then when I got there to the site and tried to do the same, try to do it all again, it errored out, and it was saying, I can't start the stream because there's no mic connected. And I was like, what? That doesn't even make any sense. Why? Why can't you start the stream if there's no mic? Also, it said that the quality would be degraded, but then it wouldn't let me like go through it anyway. And I was like, this is so unfortunate if I can't actually get a video of this. Oh, this is my stabilized version and sped up like 3x. The Neo is not as good at staying still, and because it doesn't have sideways stabilizers for the gimbal, it's way more wobbly footage. But yeah, that was the stabilized in Resolve and cropped in a little bit. But yeah, so I was like, what is going on? Why can't I start the stream? I managed to plug in the Rode wireless receiver into the controller to tell it there was a mic there, and then it let me start the stream. Still don't understand exactly what went wrong. My suspicion, which I realized this morning, is that between the first time I tested, it always happens this way. I tested in the morning, then I updated the firmware on the controller, and I didn't test it again. And I suspect that in that firmware update, it changed that feature, that it only lets you start the stream if you have a mic connected, which makes no sense to me. That's the stupidest thing. So pro tip, if you plan on live streaming from the controller, make sure you have a USB mic connected to this, or I guess you can do a wireless also, because it's not going to let you start the stream otherwise. Why? I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. But then it worked, and we got to stream the ride on the live stream, which was pretty cool. Pretty cool. Let me know next time you're in the Bay Area, and maybe we can say hello. Oh yeah, it'd be fun. Sometimes I have time between things, sometimes I don't. But if I will be down there a couple times this year. So yeah. That makes no sense at all, seeing as the controller has a mic built in. I think this one maybe doesn't have a mic built in, and maybe that's why it was doing it. It doesn't make any sense. No firmware updates on Friday or production day. That is a good rule, and I usually follow that rule myself. Discuss the RTMP connection to the Neo. What server do you use? So yeah, okay. So what I was doing was I had my trusty travel router with me. So that's this guy. This is the GL.iNet X3000. I'll drop a link to that. The reason I brought that one, let's see if I can find it. Yeah. So the reason I brought this one is because, link should be in the chat. This one has SIM card built in, so it can use an LTE connection directly. It has a LAN port, so I can give it a wired connection to the other gear. Has really tall antennas, so external antennas are super useful, and going to give you much better range. And there's like separate antennas for Wi-Fi versus 5G. Also, it supports Wi-Fi 6, so that's like higher speed Wi-Fi, which like my iPhones do support. And so that was like with me running off the battery, and the Director Mini was hardwired to that travel router with an Ethernet cable. So that meant the Director Mini has an IP address local to the mobile network that I've set up. I can plug that in here so we can also test it out. If I can figure out which direction the port is going. There we go. So travel router, Director Mini wired, AVKANS camera on the Wi-Fi of the travel router, and then iPhone can be on the travel router. My computer can be plugged in or on the Wi-Fi also, et cetera, et cetera. So how did the... Yeah, okay, so now I've got this set up again. So I've got AVKANS camera. It's actually on the Wi-Fi of the travel router. DJI Neo. So this, in the Director Mini, is an SRT server. It's built in. So what you can do here is you can go and say, you can go and add a RTMP push, which adds an RTMP server into this box. So now here I have an RTMP address, which is the address this thing has on the network that's created, that the travel router's created, which means I can type in that address into the controller. So if I boot this up, it should let me get in. It's not going to like being inside, but it's going to overheat very quickly. I can tell. Okay, so there is the drone. Then I can go into here, live streaming platforms, RTMP, and I can punch in the same address here. So that this controller, as long as this is on the Wi-Fi of the travel router, it can stream to the Director Mini's RTMP server. So it's a direct connection between this Wi-Fi through the Wi-Fi travel router into the Director Mini, which means this one's wired, this one's Wi-Fi. It is only broadcasting 720, which is part of why that streamed version is less good than the recorded version. I don't have the ability to change it on this. I did choose smooth here. And then let's go ahead and start. Yeah, so that's the error message. No built-in mic. Connect to external mic before to improve streaming quality. I feel like they should let you say, okay, but I want it in less good quality. Let me go through, but it doesn't. It just completely blocks it. So I do need a microphone, annoyingly, plugged in. So we can do it with that and a USB cable. So if I give that a USB connection. Then there we go. That's so stupid. So in a second, we should see it pop up over here. There it is. And there's a delay because I did add a buffer in here that made the video work come out a lot smoother. So there's definitely a delay. It's like a second, but that also means that it was a lot smoother. So yeah, this is pushing into that. There's nothing else. Like, it's all local. And that's one of the reasons I like this setup, is that, like, I don't need the internet for this. This travel router doesn't need an internet connection for this to work. It only needs an internet connection for this thing to actually, you know, push the internet. But the video feed from the drone is not going over the internet. What's causing the glitch in the drone stream? So that's just the RTMP glitch. So if you notice that every now and then, this is the recorded one, so this one's fine. But every now and then in this clip, let me go back to the beginning. This is the part that is the RTMP stream. So the glitches are the RTMP glitches of, yeah. So that's from the controller to the Director Mini. The video feed from the drone itself was not glitching like this. Like on my controller, it wasn't glitching. So it is the RTMP it's the RTMP glitches. It's actually still the RC2 only does 720 when you can do 1080 with the RC N3 and an Android phone. I agree. Yeah. It's also annoying that this controller does not work with, or the RC Pro doesn't work with the Neo, because the Neo uses like the new video transmission, and this one doesn't have HDMI out. Quite the travel router, far cry from the small yellow GL.iNet. Yeah, this is, I mean, but look at all the antennas. It definitely is going to be better than the little GL.iNet. And it handles the SRT feed from this great. The other thing I like about the AVKANS is it remembers the settings. So if you tell it that it has an SRT feed, enable SRT, then like as soon as it pops up on the network, the Director Mini just is able to pull the feed without me doing anything. I didn't have to like get the app out or anything. I just turn that thing on, and if it's in range of my travel router, this will be able to pull it up. So super, super handy. Great for when I'm out in the field like that. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sold enough on this AVKANS that like I might have to just buy one so I have two of them, because for these kind of rides, it's absolutely perfect camera. It is, well, I mean, the stabilization isn't great, but for stationary shots, it's absolutely perfect. Yeah. So yeah, that's the RTMP connection between the drone and the Director Mini. Worked pretty well, frankly. Cool. How are we doing? Pretty massive for a travel router. Yeah. Frankie says, for me, the biggest surprise of the Blackmagic launch was they didn't use super source. That is an interesting point. I wonder why they don't do that. I think they want it to look more like it's just live to tape, or even actually live. But still, you'd think they would want to demo super source. I don't know. $112 check. Wow. Yeah, we've been waiting for a while. Well, I think that was about all I wanted to share anyway, so that's good timing. The one thing that I haven't figured out, and I haven't, because I just did this all yesterday, I haven't had time to debug. The one thing that I was missing is the travel router should be on my Tailscale VPN. And like I am actually, yeah, I have actually pulled up, although the UI is a little bit weird. It's not doing the, yeah, it's not doing the localized labels, but the travel router is on my Tailscale VPN, and I can get to the admin interface over the Tailscale VPN. And it's supposed to be broadcasting the LAN over Tailscale. So let's see, my Wi-Fi is, my computer does not have a connection to the local network of the device. So the Director Mini has an IP address, which is 192.168.7. So that's the network that the travel router is broadcasting or is created. And what I should be able to do is because this is all on tail scale, I should be able to get to this address from a device that's not on that network, as long as that device is on tail scale. And for some reason, that was working in my test, and then not later, including now. So I need to look into that, because what I wanted to do was I wanted to be able to take a separate iPhone, put it on tail scale, and then send SRT into the Director Mini over the VPN, where this thing does not need to be on the Wi-Fi, because that circle, I don't know if you noticed, it's kind of large. Like it's a big park. And once you're on the other side of the circle, like the Wi-Fi that I'm broadcasting does not reach over there, especially since my transmitter is on the ground, not up in the air. It might have reached if I had the ability to put it 20 feet up in the air, but I did not. So what I would have liked to be able to do is take an iPhone and ride around the circle and broadcast the stream that way. I couldn't do it because I couldn't get my Director Mini on my VPN. So I need to figure that out. Once I do, it's going to be a great video, because that's a very cool thing to be able to do. You can also get HDMI out from the controller. The only problem is it doesn't give you a clean feed, but you can crop it. Not on this controller. So, well, first of all, this controller needs the USB audio device, so that's stupid. If I take it out, you can see streaming quality will be affected. Don't know what that means. It's still streaming. So let's say I can do that. This controller doesn't support HDMI out. There is no HDMI port, first of all. But secondly, it doesn't even support the like dongle that the other controller does. So there, on the other controller, you can take a computer display dongle and go from USB to HDMI, like the way I'm doing the iPad. Oh yeah, I can just take this out. So this somehow does not work, and I feel like it should, but yeah. So it's just not recognizing it. Oh wait, now it is. Huh. Okay. So apparently it doesn't like all the adapters. That's funny. So this is what you get. So it's not clean feed. That's funny. So the adapter I tried yesterday didn't work. This one does. But yeah, there's no way to get rid of the UI from this. And so I could crop in on it. And it would be something. But it's, I guess it wouldn't be that bad. Oh no, but it would be bad, because I remember now, it overlays a little home point marker on the screen, which you would see. So not the best. Supports the Anchor USB-C to HDMI, and this one's uni. So now at least we know there's two that are supported. I feel like the one I tried yesterday was Anchor, and I don't know why it didn't work. So, yeah. Mavic 4 Pro is supposed to launch on April 24th. Plug the iPad back in. That'll also see the launch of the RC Pro 2 with 7-inch tilting screen. Oh, interesting. Well, see what these all work with. I assume the Mavic is also not going to be light enough to fly over people. Also, probably, I'm guessing it's not going to have any certifications in the categories. We'll see. Seeing the UI is kind of cool. Okay, sure, it's kind of cool. But I think it's nicer to just get the clean shot. Are there any downsides in sending a stream over a VPN? The only downside is that the VPN adds a little bit of overhead. They do WireGuard, which is what Tailscale is based on, has very, very minimal overhead. So it shouldn't affect the speed too much, but it does have some effect. But so if you yeah, it can add latency. SRT is better than, because SRT can handle that latency better than RTMP can. So it would be nice if this thing supported SRT out in addition to RTMP. But that's the downside, is that it's just going to be slightly worse performance. Saltwater Salmon says, I see the Director Mini is $1,200. Yeah, it's not cheap, but it can do a lot of stuff. Cool. Okay. I think we should probably wrap this thing up. Yeah, Tailscale adds encryption, so there's some amount of latency. It definitely is not the same as having a non-VPN connection, but it's much more minimal compared to older VPN technologies. So at least there's that. Anyway, I'm going to figure it out. I had it working at one point. Not sure why it stopped working. Like during NAB, I was doing the same thing of my phone was on the Tailscale VPN. Director Mini was at home. I think what it is in that setup, the thing that was making the local network accessible is my Linux Synology NAS in the closet, versus here in this setup, it's the GL.iNet router. I did see there's a firmware update available, so I should go update that to see if that fixes it. But if not, then that's, I guess, what the problem was. Yeah, cool. So this was fun. I'm going to hopefully get a little video out with a recap of all the... Oh, thanks for the cheers. Someone found the members only Stream Deck and made the confetti appear. Thanks. Yeah, this has been fun. I'm going to try to do a video with the NAB recap, which will be like a trimmed down version of what we just talked about. All the B-roll you've already seen, so nothing new for you if you watched it live. But if you do want the more concise version to refer to, I will hopefully have that done today or tomorrow. And otherwise, yeah, the weather is getting much better now. So bike ride season has started, and I'm hoping to do more streams like that to test things out. Like I want to be able to do a proper live demo using P3 Mini to show how that works and show the bonding feature there. I'm going to keep my temporary T-Mobile new service active and use that as another cell connection to demo while I have that going, and probably test out some other bonding solutions. Like I've got I actually haven't even really done a demo of the Speedify that's built in to this, so there's that we can try too. Yeah, so hopefully you see me more outside. Let me know if that sounds like fun, if you'll tune into random streams throughout the week when the rides are happening, / weekend, I guess. Some of them are, weekends are definitely popping times. And yeah, I guess with that, we'll wrap things up. So thanks everybody for joining. Thanks to the extreme supporters of the channel, Larry, Kevin, and Marcin. And thanks to everybody else for tuning in and for watching the videos, joining the streams, asking questions. Thanks to all the channel members. Reminder, if you are a channel member, make sure you find the link below to join the members Discord, where we can continue chatting throughout the week and share updates and photos and sneak peeks of whatever I'm up to. And yeah, let me know if you have any things you want me to test out or try out next week, or see what trouble we can get up to and what new devices we can break. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and yeah, we will see you all again soon. Hopefully same time, same place next week. I think so. I don't think there's anything on the otherwise that would stop me from doing a stream next week. So with that, thanks all, and I will see you all again next time. Bye.